Hey, what's up everyone? This video we're going to go over some examples of what we can do with loops. Now, if you need a little bit more context on, the syntax of loops or how they work, then you need to check out the previous video. And you know what else you need to check out? That's right, our sponsor. They're legit, Dev Mountain. So what is Dev Mountain? Well, they offer classes in JavaScript-based web development. So if you want to be a pro at JavaScript, React, and Node.js, and much more, then you can check out Dev Mountain. They have in-person and online classes. Good news is, if you do it in person, housing is at no additional cost, so that's a huge plus. Let them know I sent you their way. They'll give you $250 off their tuition. Great way to fast track your career. Highly recommended. Now let's get back to loops, and let's just go over some simple examples first. So first, let's talk a little bit about the do-while loop. It's kind of confusing, like why would you want to do a do-while loop? Well, as a reminder, the do-while loop will do something at least once. So one example I have is in a guessing game. So you can ask the person to guess something, and you're going to do that all of the time. But you only want to ask them again if they get it wrong. So we can create a do-while loop to always ask at least once. So let's do the structure first, like so. And remember that semicolon. I'm not going to lie, there's plenty of times I forget semicolons, but I know that I always try to remember this one. All right, so what we're going to do is outside of this, we're going to create a variable. And I'll explain why we're doing it on the outside in just a minute. And we're going to make a guessing game for like a password, right? So they have to guess the password. And we're just going to declare it. We're not going to assign anything. And then inside of here is where we're going to do the assignment. So we're just going to say password, and we're going to get the guess from the prompt. So we're going to ask the user what they think the password is, like so. Now, while determines how often or when we're going to do this. So what decides if we want to do this again? Well, if they guess the password wrong, then we want to ask them again. So we need to do a comparison. So as long as the password they guessed is not equal to, and then here's where we're hard coding that password. In more complex applications with real passwords, you're not going to be hard coding them into the code. You're going to be getting that information from a database, or you'll be like encrypting the password and seeing if it matches what's in the database. But here, we're just having some fun. We're just making a little guessing game. So we're just going to hard code it. We're just going to make it let me in, because that's just what we're doing. We do a refresh, put some jargon in there, nothing happens. As soon as we say let me in, it doesn't ask us anymore. So that's how the do-while loop works. If you want it to be case insensitive, then you can use a method for that, to lowercase, like so. Now we can put any casing and it should work. Yep, still works. So that is how we can use a do-while loop. That's pretty fun. Now, what are some other stuff we can do? Well, I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about for loops, and I guess this would apply for all the other loops. But basically, you can vary the three pieces of a loop. So we talked about the initialization, the condition, and the update. You can change how those work to change the functionality of the loop. So you're not always going to be counting from 0 to 10, for example. So let's go through some, before we dive into that, let's talk about why we define this on the outside of the do here. Well, the reason is because let makes a variable tied to the scope it's defined in. Meaning, if we put the let here, and then we commented this out, well, let's do a refresh. When we put something in here, we get an error. It says password is not defined. That's because once we go out of this code block and into the while comparison, that password no longer exists. So this variable is not a thing inside of here. In order to fix that, we define it in the outer scope right here. So now it's declared in this outer scope, and it exists inside of the do and inside of the while portion. So that is why we do it on the outside. Alternatively, you could use var, and I think that should work too. So if we commented this out, and now when we put something in here, it seems to be working just fine. But as we talked about in previous videos, using let over var is recommended, as var ties things to the global scope unless it's in a function. So let's just stick with let, and let's just get rid of that var and keep that declaration on the outside of the do. Awesome. Now let's talk a little bit more about just loops. So let's create a for loop, and we're going to say let I equal 0, I is less than 10, I++. So this is kind of like the basic loop that we talked about. You could do the same thing with the while loop, but this is just much more easy to see because everything is one after the other. Now we can vary these things. So one example I wanted to show you guys is you can actually change the assignment here. So instead of incrementing, we could actually assign a new value. So we could say I is equal to I plus 2, and that's going to basically increment twice. So you could do this if you wanted to count by 2 instead of counting by 1. So that's a simple variation of the original loop. Now we're counting the even numbers. If you want to count the odd numbers, you could start with 1. And now I get 1 through 9. So that's one thing you could do. You could also count down. So in that case, you're definitely going to be able to do I minus minus. But before you run this, because if you run it, you're going to get a forever loop, a permanent loop. What's going to happen is it's comparing to see if I is less than 10, and it is all the time as we continue to get less and less and less. So I actually need to change this and do something like, let's say I is equal to 10, and we're going to go as long as I is greater than 1. And then I minus minus. So now it'll count down from 10 all the way up to down to 2, I think. Yeah, so 2. So if we wanted to go down to 1, we could just put a 0 there. Another thing we can do with loops is to go through an array or any list-like data structure. So for example, if we had a list up here, let's just say let list equal, and we'll just put some data points in here, like so. Nice and pretty. Well, what we can do is in here we could say I is equal to 0, I is less than list.length, and then I plus plus. So this is going to stop 1 before the length, which will grab that last index. And then instead of console logging I, what we can do is we can actually console log list index I. So now when we do a refresh, we get all of those elements, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 5, 4, 2, 3. We can do something similar in nature to this, but with strings. So for example, let's say we have a string and we want to search for a particular character inside of this string. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's just delete all this, and we'll just say, search this string, baby. And we want to search this for a particular character. How are we going to do this? Well, let's create another variable, and we're going to call this char to search. So basically what we're looking for. And let's assign this the value C. There we go. And let's just do a lowercase c because there's only lowercase c's in this string. Now let's do the for loop. So we're going to start as 0, and this time we're going to go to list.length, but let's actually change that to my string, and we'll change it here, my string, and we'll just get rid of this right here. So this should go through every character of that string. If we wanted to see that, we could just say my string index I, and that'll print every character. Yep, right there. Search this string, baby. So now all we have to do is we have to check to see if the character that is currently being printed, in this case, is equal to the char to search for. So we can do that inside of an if statement. So we'll just say if, put the curly braces. So we'll just say if my string of I is equal to char to search, then what are we going to do? Well, let's console log it. So we'll take that and put it inside of this if statement right there. Let's do a refresh. And you can see it does in fact print C. Let's print the index. So we'll say is found at index plus I. So C is found at index 4. Let's see if that's right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Indeed. So we just created an algorithm to search a string. We could, if we wanted, extract this into its own function and basically have a search function. There is one optimization I wanted to tell you guys about, because if this is just a simple yes or no, like yes it's found, or yes it's found at index 4, but it's not going to search that entire string, well, this is currently a waste because we're going to go up until the entire string length no matter what. So if we have a really super long string and we find C at index 4 and we're done, that's a big waste. So that's what we're going to be talking about in the next video, how to mitigate that using 2 keywords. We're going to talk about continue and break. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you guys in the next video.